Hello everybody, how are you? Welcome to another edition of NASCAR Hub. So today, I know, I'm going to be a little bit lonely today, but don't worry. I'm also trying to make it fun. So, of course, you know me, I'm your host, Angel Yes Rauda. Let's get into the race news. So, starting off with the news for today's NASCAR Hub edition, we have a brand new team according to Adam Stern. It says the money team. No. It's no joke, I'll tell ya. It is true. It says on a tweet that he posted, the long aspirating NASCAR team affiliated with Floyd Mayweather, it's working to try to finalize a deal to enter next month's Daytona 500 as its first race, per sources. So the Money Team Racing is a team associated with Floyd Mayweather, which is a wrestler from I think it's from UFC. I don't have no thing with that. I don't know anything about UFC, but what I heard is that thanks to my good friend Maxwell, he passed me the news on the Money Team racing in the Daytona 500, which they're gonna have a driver, obviously. So we're gonna be covering that sooner. But about that Money Team, I feel like it's good to have your first start as the Daytona 500, as long as you don't wreck the car in the duels and you perform equally good to get into the show in the qualifiers, then you're good to go. So for the driver, we're gonna be talking about that in a moment. But the Money Team, that is a surprisingly weirdly named team. Like, I know we've had a lot of crazy names in the past, like Second Chance Motorsports, which was a driver development program from DEI, or even Second Chance Motorsports from Rick Russell. Don't confuse them with Chance 2 Motorsports, by the way. Just don't do it. Then there's Angela's Motorsports, which was from a story that we might as well cover very soon in this podcast, which is a weird story. It's a whole drama. And there's obviously this team, the Money Team. It's really weird to say, but they're gonna have a driver, and it's gonna be Kaz Grala, who at the time of recording this, he is gonna make his fifth career start in the Cup Series if he's slated to run in the 500 with well, I'm just reading the comments here. So here's Liliana Rauda. Hey, Angel. Of course, congratulations on the third vaccination. Oh, yes, I got the booster today. And oh my goodness. Oh my God. And I have some comments here from Dale Jr. He says, it's too late for racing is showing the ARCA series and we're all screwed. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a problem. But anyways, let's get back to the topic. Kaz Grala, he has 4 starts under his belt in the NASCAR Cup Series. Of course, he'd made a couple of starts for a colleague in 2021. He made his first start in 2020, and then he's made his other 3 in 2021. And he has 2 top 10, so he is not messing around. He's doing pretty good, and he's led a total of 527 laps of 13 laps out of 527 that he's competed in Cup Series. His average finish is a 19.0. He has never DNQ'd, so he's a pretty good serviceable driver, and he has finished 2 times on the lead lap. So if this comes into fruition, if they get their stuff together, this could be a pretty good option. And I know what Dale came into mention here about this, but we're going to get into this a little bit later on after we ended up covering. So we have to discuss a little bit of Kaz Grala. So from his background, he has made 34 starts in the Xfinity Series. He has never gotten a single win, but he's had 4 top 5s and 9 top 10s. So He's a pretty good serviceable driver, and most of the time he can bring the car back in one piece. And if the dominoes fall where they have to fall, he can basically have a win. Like for example, in 36 starts in the Truck Series from 2016 to 2021, he garnered a win, which was the season opener at Daytona. You remember Matt Crafton spinning in the air and flipping. That race was won by Kaz Grala. His only career win in NASCAR across the top three divisions. Of course, he hasn't had any success in ARCA or in the Pinty series or even in the K&N series. But apart from that, he's shown to be a pretty good driver. So if he gets a win in the Xfinity series, that would be a pretty good big break. And here's another comment from Dale. Best bet Kaz Grala is going to be in the Final Four this year. We wish. I mean, from all the underdogs drivers that I've seen, I kind of wish that we would see that, but I don't know, Dale. It's pretty. What's the word to say it? It's just pretty weird to just say Cashwell in the top in the Final Four. Maybe if he attempts another full-time season, because his only full-time season across the the whole top three series of NASCAR was in the Truck Series in 2017, where when I mentioned he won that lone race at Daytona. But apart from that, if he's slated to run his first 500 with the money team if everything falls under in a good banner. So if everything goes out good and they're all into a pretty good space and whatnot, maybe qualify for the event, then it's all set. Everything's set. So Floyd Mayweather and the money team, good luck to you, as well as Kaz Grala. So now before we get into the topic of this edition of NASCAR Hub, how about some of the comments that I've been getting? I've shown a lot of them. So here's one from Dale that says, "It's too late. Flow Racing is showing the ARCA series. We're all screwed." I mean, the ARCA series was shown by NBCSN, but because of the network going belly up after 2021 and most of the NASCAR races going to USA, and those races are under contract with mainly NBC and Fox, specifically the Cup and the Xfinity races, it's going to be really weird to see Flow Racing airing the ARCA series. Like, it's also going to be, I think Flow Racing is going to be the new home for the Whelen Modifieds, because they were also aired most of the time, well, exclusively on NBCSN. But now that the races have gone to USA, yeah, Flow Racing is going to have to air them too, unless they get contract with Fox, which if they air an FS2, it would be much better. So now let's get into the real story of this. The true legacy of the Disney Pixar movie Cars. So let's go way back. Let's go all the way back to 2006. NASCAR was in its big boom in popularity. And of course, when you are in a big boom of popularity, you're going to have a lot of Hollywood fame around you. So it was kind of shown for it in 2005 when they came out with Herbie Fully Loaded, which was interesting. No, really, you have to watch that movie. I watched it once and it was weird, but fairly interesting. But the year that I'm focusing around, which was NASCAR's big boom, was in 2006. They came out with two movies in an era where going to the theater with the family was a pretty good occasion, and you didn't have to sit at home and watch Netflix. Oh, we have a comment from Dale. So it says, "Who do you think is be showing in the playoff races in 2023 after Fox leaves the TV deal with NASCAR. Hmm, I don't know, Dale. I think it's gonna be either CBS if they are betting to come back because they've already shown pretty good interest on SRX, or it would be NBC, which we already know they have been airing a lot of the playoff races because they air like second half of the season. But anyways, going back to this topic, uh, two movies came out, which I already mentioned. The first one was Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, which it came out with a lot of jokes and boobies. But apart from that, the second movie that I'm gonna talk that came out in that same period, which was also in 2006, was the movie that connects with the youth of NASCAR, which is Cars. Of course, it's not like like the classics of Disney and Pixar, like Toy Story or The Incredibles. But over the years, the movie has been gaining somewhat of a cult following, mainly amongst racing fans and NASCAR fans in general. Because the story is a pretty interesting story. In this first movie, Lightning McQueen is a hotshot rookie getting a harsh pill from reality while being mentored while being mentored by by a NASCAR veteran. Oh, what's this comment? Talladega Nights and Herbie Fully Loaded makes NASCAR look like a joke. Yep. I mean, Herbie Fully Loaded kinda does, but Talladega Nights totally does. But speaking of cars, it is a pretty good movie. It makes look NASCAR the way it is, especially with the storyline of Lightning McQueen, which I already mentioned. He is a hotshot rookie. He would do pretty stupid decisions. I mean, all rookies do pretty stupid and even sometimes erratic decisions. Like, for example, we saw last year's Daytona 500 in the opening big one, where clearly we can see that Christopher Bell made a clear aggressive move over Camarola, and he was not a rookie. He was not a rookie. He was a sophomore driver, but it kind of is what happened. So throughout the movie, we get introduced to a lot of characters and a lot of NASCAR stars. Like for example, Richard Petty was the voice of Strip Weathers, aka the King, which according to the Disney Wikipedia, the King has 7 Piston Cups, which is the equivalent of Richard Petty's 7 Winston Cups in NASCAR history. And also, there's this character which is Junior, just Junior, which is obviously played by the most popular driver in that time, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And I'm gonna mention something later on as we progress. So of course, doing the stupid decisions that a NASCAR rookie would do, McQueen ends up in a town which is called Radiator Springs, which in there he starts developing the harsh pill of reality that he gets, that not everything in life is winning, and we all know that. I mean, not everything in life is about winning and stuff, but when you're that young and you think about it that way, it is true. You always think about winning throughout that time. And when McQueen gets to the final race of the movie, it is called by the movie the Dinoco 400, but we're just gonna call it the season finale 400, which was only 3 cars, very similar to that. That's actually a reference to the first race in Talladega in 1969. Nice. Where Richard Brickhouse, Jim Vandiver, and Bobby Isaac were the only competitive cars on the field, while the rest was was just field fillers from fitter series. Anyways, here's another comment from Dale. But cars, just like it looks here, here is NASCAR. It's a sport where you race and you try to beat the guy ahead, but you with of you. But it also has some very important life lessons. Yeah, it is true. I mean, you can take that for life, and that's what I learned with watching that movie. There's some pretty good lessons that Disney gave us with that film because when the movie came out, I was only 3 years old. So so Aaron, I grew up watching that movie, and it's because of that movie that I got into NASCAR in 2008 and 2009. But my first full time season was 2010, and I remember Denny Hamlin just winning and then losing the championship to Jimmy Johnson. Just 8 wins in a season to lose a championship to my favorite driver. But anyways, it is true what Dale says. The movie is it has some pretty good life lessons on it. Like the first one that I mentioned, that not everything in life is winning, and the second moral lesson is that you just need to help someone when they're in need. I mean, in the last race, again, last lap, Chick Hicks does the job. Dom strip weathers, makes him flip, and McQueen, who was going for the lead, he just breaks before reaching the start finish line. Yes, he gave the cup to Chick Hicks, but using that moral lesson that I said that not everything is winning, he helped Strip Weathers to finish his last race, which that's also a reference to when in 1992 in Atlanta, Richard Petty made his final race. He crashed, even if he had to cuss for the fire extinguisher, but he came back on track with 2 laps to go. So you knew that he was gonna be out on the last lap, and that's a pretty good reference. I mean, it happens. It happens with a lot of references, but it is like that. And the movie ends up with a pretty good life lesson that not everything in life is about winning and stuff, but it is about being respectful, especially on the track. And that respect, McQueen learned it from Doc Hudson, which he's voiced by Paul Newman. So, apart from being a pretty good actor, he was also a racing enthusiast. He was so close of winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I mean, it would have been pretty cool if he would have won Le Mans back in his time. But yet again, I'm not an endurance racing guy, so I don't know much about endurance racing. Only the 24 hours of Daytona and the 24 hours of Le Mans. But of course, they came. Two movies came out after Cars, which were Cars 2 and Cars 3, but both were equally not good. Especially Cars 2, which was considered the worst movie of Pixar's history. But Cars 3 was the good story, the swan song of a veteran driver learning to give opportunities to the young guns, and then finally ended up retiring. So now the question is, what is the true legacy of Cars? And there, to me, I would say that the true legacy of the movie Cars is getting connected, getting people connected to a NASCAR fandom. Because of that movie, I got into NASCAR fandom. Everyone that was born around the same year that that was in between 2000 and 2003, which they grew up with the movie and they're NASCAR fans now. So I can bet your butt that Cars gave a lot of NASCAR fans, especially young ones, because there's one saying that Slapshoe said in one of his videos that if you hook NASCAR fans early, you can probably hook them for life. And that's a good thing of Cars. It just helps to get to connect young NASCAR fans, and if you have them for life, they're gonna be there, and they'll be diehards. They'll be diehards. I'm a diehard NASCAR fan, so that to me, connecting with NASCAR's youth to get them involved in the sport, that is for me the true legacy of Cars. And I want to ask your opinion. What is for you the true legacy of the movie Cars? And if you want, I'll do a video covering Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, or even Days of Thunder. Sure, I've only watched Talladega Nights. I never watched Days of Thunder. I might look for a link or something, or even buy Hulu. But that's what I want to ask you. If you want me to do a video on either Talladega Nights or Days of Thunder. But anyways, this is all for this episode of NASCAR Hub. Thank you all guys for watching. I'm Julius Rhoda, and you made it to the next play.